first opening of the film, you see Lily Rose Depp, and I totally agree. This is a performance of her career. You see her being made love to and being owned by Orlok. And there's images to where you see his body over her, and then where you see her convulsing with no one there, like a cut. And it was really chilling, man. You were just like, what was that? And as the story unveils itself, it tells you that she she has been connected to Orlok since she was a child, like 10, I want to say. And he's coming back. He's coming back to reunite with her. And that's really the that's what gets the story going. She's recently married to Nicholas Holt's character, who's got some uh, prospects in his own work of real estate, and of course, his boss Knock wants him to go and finish the real estate deal in person at Orlok's castle. And he's like, well, why can't I? Why can't I? Why can't we do this here? We got we got we got emails. No, but he's like, well, why can't we just do the mailings there? Like I just got married. I want to stay here. And Knock says, no, you got to go. And later you realize that Knock is the Renfield character. So I showed you that image earlier in regards to his travel to Orlok's estate, to his castle. I want to bring up another image for you guys, because really you get this is probably the best image in regards to him being seen and him being Orlok. And it's his hands. And this is the first meeting that we see where, after a long journey, Nicholas Holt's character finally meets Orlok, the Count. Couple things here. In this first encounter, we never see Orlok's face. Just as far as the face, major shadows. But instead, we get his breathing. We get his lumbering walk, his gait, which is very slow and methodical. And then, of course, you see the imagery of his hands, which is just devastatingly terrifying. You can see terror take over Nicholas's character as the scene goes on. And yet there are moments of levity here, because the Count kind of has some humorous dialogue as well with him. But make no mistake, Nicholas is now in his clutches. I want to say also too that as we get more of Orlok, this is not the Nosferatu that you see from the 20s. This is very much a more kind of ethnically correct Carpathian, count than anything, to where he's got this really, really crazy mustache. And it's not like, it's not with the curly curlies, but it gets more distinguished because as the movie progresses and he's getting more blood and he's getting rejuvenating himself slowly but surely, you see his human form taking shape. And it is like a hulking, gangly, nasty, and again, very ethnic look to the Count. And that makes sense. The Count Orlok. Okay, another thing I want to talk about too is his accent and his voice, because it could easily be over the top, not to be taken seriously, and it's not. Right? You get that this accent that Skarsgård has put on. It's so ancient. It's so funky that it makes sense because it's so alien to Nicholas, right? Nicholas is is this proper young, upstarter, very by the book, very litigious, that coming up against this very just insane iteration of Orlok. It's just, it's wild, man. It's wild. The lighting of that image looks great. And a lot of this here, a lot of this here is candlelit lighting. These guys, the filmmaker and the cinematographer, they've created a masterpiece. So, yeah. And I want to say, as the movie progresses, you get to see more of Orlok's body and the practical effects that we got from there. Um, I think by now also too, you guys have seen the images of Lily Rose screaming. There's now a scene where it's her talking to Nicholas in regards to her being terrified of her dreams, that she dreamt that she was being married to Orlok, and that in that wedding scene, her family and friends, they all are dead, and that she's horrified, and yet it's beautiful at the same time. That is one of many incredible scenes Lily Rose Depp pulls off. Also, too, with her performance, you know, they she physically contorted herself at times to where you're like, is that real or fake? And it wasn't like, the ring and the monsters and the creepy contortion that kind of looks like too CGI'd, too manipulated. There's none of that. She physically committed 100% to this. 100%. All right, what other images can I bring up for you guys before I start taking your questions in regards to the movie? We got to talk about Willem. We got to talk about Willem. So Willem Dafoe's character comes in, I want to say midway through, and it's almost as if Willem's take on this character is more on a grandiose acting level that is so welcomed in this film, because it's been so heavy that you're like, oh my god, he's incredible, right? We needed this. We say this word a lot, levity, but man, it comes at the best time. He gives all the rules. He gives all the knowledge. So his character had been banned by the university, but the doctor was one of his students. So that's how he was able to bring in Willem into the mix, because at this point, Lily Rose is it looks like she's possessed. They don't know what's going on. Aaron Taylor and his wife um bring in the doctor. The doctor's like, I don't know what to do. We're at Ralph Ineson, incredible. He says, I have my professor, my teacher, but he was banned from the university for his wild ideas. And here he is. He makes a great entrance. And he basically says, here's what's going on. I don't have all the answers, but in my knowledge and learning of the occult, he is Nosferatu. And of course, Aaron Taylor and the wife kind of shoo him away, and the wife and their two kids meet a horrible ending via Nosferatu, and then later on, Aaron Taylor. I mean, there's some very jarring images, jarring scenery, but Willem's performance and his take is much needed. I'm telling you, much needed. All right, let's bring Fletcher back in. Hey, Fletcher.
Hey.
All right, so yeah, those are some spoiler takes on the visuals, the practical effects, and some of the story. Now I want to start getting some questions for you guys. So, fire away in regards to your questions of the film. Yeah, and I want to say also too, before we get to your questions, is that there's very little. Let me. I don't even. Yeah, I'll bring it up. There's very little CGI in this film,
Perfect.
and it's the where they filmed in Croatia and different countries there. Man, they got really they got their money's worth in as far as landscape and traditional castles. But here's an image that we've seen already by now, and but there's not a lot of this because a lot of it is real, and of course the way Edgar's film
Mm,
stuff. Majority of the film is
mm,
practical sets, and it's a lot of shadow play. It's a lot of um, it's a lot of that. I think the most effects are gonna be the voyage of him on the boat, Orlok, going to the German town, and then kind of like them maneuvering his coffin down the canals, going towards his new home. Like you can tell, like that's
cool.
yeah, yeah. Okay, what
Okay.
else?
I know the psalmist says, do they pay homage to the Dracula films of the past, like Coppola film?
So I think where they paid homage to was a little bit of the humor in the meeting with Orlok and Holt's character. You know, but it's not grandiose or on a Shakespearean thespian level. You,
Mm,
you see that. I saw that, but not a lot. This is really different.
mm,
Um, the color is different. Even everything's muted, so it's not
mm,
And even though there is there's a big difference here too in regards to Orlok. What they changed was that he sucks blood out of people's hearts, not the neck.
mm,
They got that. He Edgar's got that idea from old folklore of being bitten by a vampire with the what do you call it, the native population in Transylvania, that
mm,
there was chest pressure. So he liked that idea of you can't see it, but he's actually sucking the blood from the chest. Now, let me say this too. When Nicholas Holt's character makes it to the village before the castle, we're introduced to the natives there. And yes, they're joyful, they drink, they dance, but when they find out who he's going to go see, they're just like, "Yo, turn around." But they're very ethnic, right? They're almost gypsy, which I loved. There's also a ritual that they do to ward him off and to keep him happy. It involves a virgin, it involves nudity, and it involves a sacrifice. So that is pretty heavy.
mm,
And we're seeing it through Holt's character. how he's horrified by what he's seeing. I mean, it's so damn good. It's like, look, yeah, I realize chess play, but I'm taking this license because this is a way for him to make it his own. Um, that they when he does it, it's not like you're hearing like chest bone plates, crack. But you definitely get to see just how powerfully strong Orlak is. So it's almost like, yeah, that guy can do anything he wants. It doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It is a
Does he
long
have a Fu
movie.
Manchu?
No, it's not skinny. It's actually thick, and it ends here, and it's a little
Okay,
bushy. Go ahead.
so like the book. So it's
I
like
guess
the
so.
book, like Bram Stoker. Yeah,
I guess so, but it's not like, and it's not curly mustache or long hair looking
yeah.
all suave like Oldman. This guy looks like an ethnic count, like, from like 1,000 years ago. Yeah. It's fitting to the region. He fits to the region. So like he's the count, right? So he's like the lord of that
Hmm.
land. And it would make
Hmm.
sense that he would look like that, and that the countrymen there in the village also looked like that. Yeah, that was really really intense. This goes with the Nosferatu story, is that Lily's character sacrifices herself to help kill him. That's the end, right? That's in the film, and they did not deviate from that, and it was an incredible ending. A real, almost kind of like an alien type of skeleton structure that gets eroded from the sun, but you still see it there, lying in bed with Lily. It's like, oh damn, that was crazy.
He is coming.